How's it going, everybody? Keegan here with another weekly video lesson, and this week is all about practice and those of you who are struggling in the practice room. Maybe you're having trouble forming the good practicing habits. Maybe you're not progressing as well as you like. Here are some of my favorite techniques. This is my tips for productive practice. Before we go ahead and jump in, once again, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button, as well as a little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. I try to post about once every week, but sometimes I don't. I'm a very busy man. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with a book suggestion. I'm not endorsed by this author or anything like that. I just think it's a fantastic book. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is probably one of my more gifted books. I keep 2 copies in my house because I always end up giving one of them away. It's about the psychology of making and forming habits and then breaking bad habits. It's fantastic. It has revolutionized the way I exercise, the way I practice in the practice room, the way I read, how I manage my finances, all that good stuff. Atomic Habits, James Clear. I'll post a Amazon link in the description because, like I said, it is a fantastic book. One of my favorites. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to give you some strict methodology. This is just a little bit of advice. The main thing I see with people who are struggling to practice is that people are struggling to form the habit of practicing, and they don't know how to manage their time when they're in the practice room. I struggled with this for years. It was only until probably the end of my college career that I was a really effective practicer. My freshman and sophomore years of college, my professor can attest to this. I was a terrible practicer. It took me a while to make it work. So today I've got 5 really easy tips, and they're gonna get you on your way to managing your practice time. Number 1 is to keep a practice journal. Now, I did a 1-minute lesson on this on Instagram. It's on YouTube. I'll post a link right here so you can check it out. Any kind of practice journal, there's different ways to do it. You can check out my video on it. Anything that can log and measure your practice time, how you're using it, and where you started and where you ended your practice session so you can pick up the next time. Practice journals, super effective. I use a day planner. You can just use a notebook. There are practice sheets you can print off the internet. All of these things are super effective at keeping track of what you're doing, when you're doing it, how to do it, and how to progress. So the number 1, super effective. Number 2, this is always a good idea. Have some sort of book you're working out of. No one is beyond working out of a book. I'm working out of 3 right now. Part of my practice session is spent doing other things, whether it's working up tunes for gigs I've got, certain exercises that I have goals in mind that I've written myself, and then I spend a portion of my practice time working out of different books to add some creative flair that's not my own, and it just helps me with my reading chops. If you're not a music reader, YouTube lessons are always wise as well. I would highly advise learning a little bit of music theory as far as reading and writing music goes, because it's just going to extend your musical and creative vocabulary. However, if you're not a music reader, YouTube lessons are always great. Some sort of outside informational source to bring into your practice is always going to be effective. Number 3 is to practice with a metronome. I know that there is some debate as to metronomes, and I won't really get into that, but the main thing is metronomes are going to help you measure your progress. If you work up an exercise and you ended at 90 beats a minute, you know exactly where you need to start at the next time. You can start a couple of clicks below and then work up from there. It's a very effective and productive use of your time to use a metronome or some sort of timekeeping device. That way you can measure your progress in a very, very objective way. Number 4 is to time out your practice. This will avoid burnout. This will avoid spending too much time on one thing, especially if you have to manage your practice time effectively. If you have an hour's worth of time, it's really easy to spend too much time on one thing unless you have some sort of timer or timekeeping device. My practice is usually organized within like a 5-minute warm-up to 10 to 15 minutes speed and coordination work, followed by whatever music I need to learn or write over the top of, and then the tail end is more exploratory, trying to navigate my instrument in a new way. And number 5 would be practice at the same time each day. That's going to really make it easy to step into that practice zone. I know schedules are crazy and sometimes we have to cram hours in, but depending on your schedule, if you could practice around the same time each day, as soon as you walk into the practice room, your mindset's going to be already set up to practice, and you can kind of leave the outside world on the other side of the door, as it were. And a quick little bonus one would be to practice in the same space every day. That's another thing that's going to help your mindset. I am lucky enough to have a home studio, so it's very easy for me to practice in the same space every day. But as soon as I walk in this room, my brain is kind of set up to go to work, and it makes it that much easier. It's just like with exercising. If you put on your exercise clothes, sometimes that's all you need to get exercising. And the same thing goes with going in the practice room. If you set your mind up and you practice in the same spot each day, even when you're not motivated, sometimes getting in the practice room will go ahead and get your mind into that practice mode. And that's it. Those are my 6 main ones. There are plenty of other methods and tricks and tools for having a better practice session. These are just some of the easiest ways to organize your practice session and stick with it. Nothing too specific today. That being said, if you have a special technique that helps you stick with it or helps you increase your productivity in the practice room, please let me know in the comments. I love hearing new feedback. I'm getting some really cool feedback and information in the comment section, and all of them have been fantastic. Once again, I'll link to the books and all that stuff in the show description. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you have a great practice session. Like I said, let me know in the comments section if you have any more suggestions, and I will see you later.